Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be sharing with you everything that I read in October. If you don't already know, a few months ago I started a bookstagram. Put my little tag here. You can go follow it. Last month I did a roundup of everything that I read in September. It wasn't my most popular video, but a lot of people did like it, so I am going to do it again. And I read a lot in October. I read a lot in October. I'm just going to share them in the order that I read them and give you a mini synopsis and let you know what I rated it. No spoilers. So we're going to start with that, and that is the Twisted series by Anna Huang. So basically there are 4 books in this series. They can be read as standalones, but they are interconnected. 4 friends. This one is about Ava. This one is a brother's best friend romance. So Ava's brother is Josh. He is a doctor. He's going to, I think, like the Peace Corps or something like that. He's going to be out of the country, and he asks his billionaire best friend Alex to keep an eye on his sister while he's gone. They end up falling in love. Obviously, it's a romance. There's all sorts of like trauma. Ava has a fear of water because she was almost drowned when she was a child. She has a lot of memories that she doesn't remember. Alex has his own trauma. His family was killed when he was younger, and he is seeking revenge, and you kind of find out how their stories get intertwined. And the good thing about these books is that they're not dark, they're a little morally gray, but you're gonna get a happily ever after with all of them. So that was the first one. This was a 5-star read for me. I love a billionaire romance. It's such a fantasy. And Alex, hottie. I picture him as Ian Somerhalder, so, you know, do with that what you will. The next in the series is going to be Twisted Games. This is the story of Bridget, and it's a bodyguard romance. Her bodyguard Reese and her fall in love, obviously. This one is more of a slow burn, but it's very interesting because Bridget is a princess of a European country. It's made up, called Eldora, and you kind of get to see what happens when her older brother decides that he's going to abdicate the throne, and she has to kind of take over and go through all this like royal duty of like think Princess Diaries 2, honestly. It's very similar to the Princess Diaries 2. These are spicy as hell, by the way, so keep that in mind. Twisted Games was another 5-star read for me. By the way, I will link my Goodreads down below if you want to check that out and get my full reviews of all of these books. The third book in this series is Twisted Hate, and I'm going to tell you right now, this was an absolute 1-star for me, and I hated it. It pissed me off so much. So this is an enemies to lovers. This is Jules and Josh, Ava's brother, the doctor, and they have this like contempt. And in the first 2, since these are all interconnected, you know these characters a little bit already. In the first 2 books, you see like how they go at each other, and I mean, that's building up that the fact that they're going to get together. But Josh is just an insufferable twat. I cannot stand him. He's so mean and unkind, and he does something just completely unforgivable to Jules. And the drama just wasn't it for me in this one. Basically, Jules is being manipulated by someone in her past and has to kind of feels like she needs to like betray Josh. I don't know. It didn't hit. This was 1 star. I did not want to finish it, but I'm not a quitter. And then finally, my probably favorite in the series is Twisted Lies. So this is the story of their friend Stella, and I don't know how to explain how they know each other. The guy that she gets with, Christian, used to be Bridget's bodyguard's boss and also is a billionaire and knows Alex. So anyway, with her, she is a social media influencer and she has a stalker. So she lives in the same building as Christian, and he has the security company, and he kind of takes her under his wing and protects her. And the drama of that book is really her and her stalker. The love story is a super slow burn. She's got some family issues. They don't agree with her life choices of being a fashion influencer, and Christian has got some super dark secrets of his own of how he knows Stella. And the reason that this was my favorite in the series is, one, I just really like Stella. She was the most relatable out of all of the girls. And also, like, the epilogue really brings together everybody's happily ever after. So it was nice for the whole group to kind of come together in the end and see how all of these friends and relationships come together and grow into adulthood. And it was just a very good series. Overall, great series. Personally, I would skip Twisted Hate though, so that's the Twisted series. Okay, now we'll actually go in order. So the first book that I read in October was Beautiful Bastard by Christina Lauren, and this was a 4-star read for me, not because it was a good book, because it really wasn't, but because I was just impressed that Christina Lauren could write steamy scenes that were to fade to black. So basically, Beautiful Bastard, Chloe is an intern for this company. She's been working for them for years, and then the family brings back their son, who is now her boss, and from right out of the gate, they just have like sexual tension, and it's just insane. And you know what, maybe this wasn't a 4-star read, because now that I'm saying it, I don't really remember the plot of this at all. I just remember being surprised that there was actually like good spice in it. So the next book I read was the Bromance Book Club, and this story is about a Major League Baseball player and his wife, and you meet them when she has asked him for a divorce because he finds out that she has been faking her orgasms throughout their marriage. And obviously that's not the only reason, and there's a whole lot of underlying reasons, and they uncover, but the orgasm was the straw that broke the camel's back. In order to try to save their marriage and win her back, him and his baseball friends, they have a bromance book club where they read romance novels and take what they learn from them and apply them to their relationships. And it was cute. It was cute. It was a funny premise and funny to read about these guys who are seriously taking like what is happening in these romance novels like legit, and like actually learning lessons from them and applying them to their lives. It was 3 stars. It was entertaining. It wasn't mind-blowing. The ending was okay. It didn't leave an impression, but I didn't hate it. You're going to notice a theme starting here soon. And next up is faking with benefits. This is another reverse harem romance from Lily Gold. I told you guys about Nanny for the Neighbors last month, and turns out I am addicted to reverse harems written by Lily Gold. This is a friends to lovers version. Basically, the 3 guys, Zach, Luke, and Josh, they live across the hall from Layla. They have a podcast where they talk about relationships, and doesn't that sound familiar? Someone else I know has a podcast where they talk about relationships. Anyway, Layla hasn't ever had a good date ever. She can't date. She's really bad at it. She scares men off. She asks them to help her learn how to date in exchange for talking about it on their podcast, and so that's what they do. They teach her how to date, and they teach her how to do a lot of things. I love a reverse harem because you get really everything you want from all of the men. Josh is super sweet and has had a crush on Layla for years and has been pining after her. Zach is a big hulky mountain man with a dirty mouth and just like, ugh, heart of gold. And then Luke is the older man. He was a teacher at her high school and was married to the principal who made her life hell when she was in high school. And they get a little bit of revenge on her. It was really, really good. I liked the story a lot. I'm just gonna say, reverse harems, they are not for the faint of heart. If you're like that girl on TikTok and you think Colleen Hoover is spicy, you are not ready for Lily Gold. Next up was In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. It was a 3-star read. Oh, by the way, Faking with Benefits, that was 5 stars. It was a 3-star read. Again, I don't even remember the main character's name. I don't have it with me because it was a library book, but her family and her parents have very close friends, and she's grown up with their kids, and she's had a crush on the one brother for years, but they get drunk and she kisses the other brother, and then she gets into a car accident, and then she keeps reliving the same day over and over again until she gets it right, and she gets the right brother, basically. It was entertaining. That was pretty much it. There was nothing more to it. There's no other kind of craziness, or it's just the drama between her and kind of like making the right choices to end up with the right brother. And it was good. Again, I didn't hate it, but it didn't make an impact. 3. Swedish Mountain Men, again by Lily Gold. Again, another reverse harem. Again, one where you get a little bit of everything from all of the guys. So basically, Daisy was a teacher. She has an ex-boyfriend, kind of dox her online and put out a sex tape of them, and she gets fired and slut-shamed, and she decides she's going on a vacation to Sweden. And when her car breaks down, she gets rescued by Riven, Eli, and Cole. Riven is the hot doctor of this secluded town up near the North Pole. Eli is a ski instructor, he's the flirty one, and Cole is the big rugged mountain man. And as I'm sure you can guess, the three of them fall in love with her and they have a relationship, and again, it gets spicy. This was not my favorite of Lily Gold's reverse harems, just because the story itself wasn't as interesting as some of the other ones, so it was a 4-star read for me, but still really good. Next up was the Stopover by T.L. Swan, and in this story, again, don't remember the characters' names, but the girl and the guy, she gets upgraded to first class on a flight. They spend their flight flirting. Their flight gets rerouted. They were supposed to land in New York, but they land in Boston, and they have a one-night hookup. A year later, she ends up working at her dream company, which, surprise, surprise, he is the CEO of. I don't remember really anything from the plot. This was, a lot of people call some romance books porn with plot. This one was just a lot of porn. They weren't, the couple, they weren't great. Literally all they did the entire time was fight or fuck. There was nothing else there to make you want to grab on and root for them. I gave it 2 stars because I was semi-entertained. I didn't want to quit the book, but I also didn't enjoy it. Then I read the Loathe to Love You feminist novellas by Ali Hazelwood. I love Ali Hazelwood. These 3 are basically the exact same story told 3 times. You've got 3 PhD women and 3 hot guys who go from enemies to lovers. In one, they are forced to live under the same roof due to property being left to somebody in a will. In another one, she is doing research in Svalbard, and he is a research director. She gets into an accident and he has to rescue her. And in the other one, she is an environmental engineer and he works for a competing firm. So again, they're like about 150 pages each, and in each one they start as enemies and they end up as lovers, and I ate it up. I like them a lot. I gave them all 5 stars. The not groundbreaking literature, but damn entertaining. Then I read A Court of Silver Flames. I'm going to keep this very, very brief because I do not want to give any spoilers away. All I will say is that it is the most recent book in the A Court of Thorns and Rose series. It is the first one to not focus mainly on Feyre. It focuses on her sister Nesta, and it was the best book in the series. Then we had Pumpkin Spice and Not So Nice by Becky Monson. This was just a cute little fall read that I saw browsing through Kindle Unlimited. Jenna has no luck with men. She's the one that they date before they meet the one. You know that whole thing. Aiden is a socially awkward CEO, and so he pays her to help him kind of come out of his shell before this big, like, work thing that he needs to be, like, on for. Her family runs this pumpkin patch, and they're, like, super dorky and wear, like, pumpkin costumes, and it was very cute. I felt as I was reading it like I was like sitting on a hay bale in a pumpkin patch, drinking a pumpkin spice latte and eating a caramel apple. Like, it just very much gave fall vibes, and it was very cute. 3 stars. Next was Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. This book is a dual point of view between mother and daughter. Don't remember the characters' names. Fuck. But basically the mom had her daughter when she was 17, and now the daughter is 16. The mother has a younger sister who's really close with her daughter and just had a baby of her own, and a very tragic accident happens. The husband and the younger sister both die in a car accident, and then the family is kind of left reeling with the consequences of their death and the circumstances under which they were together and all sorts of stuff like that. There's also a like right person, wrong time kind of trope going on, and it was 4 stars for me for a Colleen Hoover book. I think it was really good. Then I read One True Loves by my Lord and Savior Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book broke my heart into a million pieces. Emma marries her high school sweetheart, Jesse. They are married for 364 days before he's a photographer and he leaves to go to Alaska on a work trip, and he goes missing and is presumed dead. And you go through the motions of her dealing with her grief and reckoning with the life that they built together versus the life that she used to have, and you go through all of that with her, and finally she is reunited with another man from her past, and they fall in love and they're engaged and they're ready to get married, and then Jesse is found alive. So that's not a spoiler, it's on the back page, but you can imagine just the, well, I just sneezed big time. You can imagine the unbearable grief and heartbreak that Emma goes through and that both men go through, and it was just beautifully written and gorgeous, and I loved it, and it was 5 stars. Then we had Triple Duty Bodyguards, again by my girl, Lily Gold. Briar Rose is a celebrity. She's got a gross stalker who breaks into her house and jerks off on her. So she hires a bodyguard group. You've got Glenn, who is the sweetheart. You've got Kenta, who is the secretive, kind of quiet one. And then you've got Matt, who is the bad guy, leader, grumpy. They were all in the military. They worked together. They had a mission together, and they have some trauma from that. Briar has trauma from growing up as a child star, and then of course having this stalker, and my god, do they fall in love, and my god, is there some yeah. This was another 5 stars. This was really good. I love Briar. She was a brat and I was obsessed with her. Then I read Hat Trick Heart by Ella Market. This is a hockey romance reverse harem, and I gave it 4 stars. I really liked it because as opposed to Lily Gold's reverse harems where the girl is new to that type of relationship but the guys have had that type of relationship before, in this one none of them have had this type of relationship before. So they're all kind of like figuring it out together, and there's like a best friend and jealousy. There's 2 of the guys are bisexual, so there's that element to it. Basically, Macy and Max have been best friends for years. She's kind of like his hockey good luck charm. He is on a team with Andy, and an old friend from college gets transferred onto their team. His name is Raph, I think. Andy and Raph kind of have a relationship together, and Max and Macy kind of have their thing, but then she also starts to have a thing with the other guys, and Max isn't necessarily into it, but eventually they all kind of come together, and it's a very sweet, very spicy, I enjoyed it a lot. Then I read It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, and I famously, infamously hate it. It Ends With Us. It is one of the worst books I've ever read in my entire life. So why did I buy this? I don't know, because I like to inflict pain upon myself, but I actually really liked this book, and I gave it a 5-star, not because it 5 stars compared to It Ends With Us. I think this was a lot better. I really, really enjoyed Atlas and his storyline. This was sold as Atlas and Lily's story, but it's really Atlas's story. And I also like how she kind of reconciled some of the ending of It Ends With Us and sort of the forgiveness that a certain someone got that didn't deserve it. Again, it's very contentious. You either like it or you don't, and I happen to like this one even though I hated It Ends With Us, and so I gave it 5 stars. And then I read Love in the Time of Serial Killers. I really, really enjoyed this book. Basically, Phoebe is a PhD candidate. She does research on true crime as a genre. Her father passes away, so her and her brother have to go to his house and kind of clean it out. Mysterious neighbor next door. Da-da-da. They end up being together, and she's sort of, it's like a golden retriever boyfriend, black cat girlfriend kind of situation. The romance of it all was very, very sweet, and there's also just like this undercurring element of looking at the world through the eyes of someone who obsesses over true crime and like where everything could possibly go wrong, and always kind of like looking over your shoulder. It's not spooky, but it was a very interesting read, so I gave it 4 stars. And then I read Layla by Colleen Hoover. I really enjoyed this book. It was 4 stars. It was a psychological thriller, creepy, but different than Verity, but still creepy. So I don't know why this guy's name is Leeds, but his name is Leeds. He meets Layla at her sister's wedding when he's playing in the band, and they sort of have like an insta-love kind of thing. They fall in love. They have been together for just a few weeks when she is shot by his ex-girlfriend slash stalker, and she lives, but she's got brain damage and she's not really the same person anymore. So he takes her back to the bed and breakfast where her sister's wedding was to try to like reconcile things and make her feel normal again. And he ends up kind of having a relationship or a friendship building with another person at the B&B Willow. And then that's all I'm gonna say, because a whole bunch of crazy shit happens after that, and anything else would be a spoiler. But it was really good. It fucked with my head for a few days. Then I read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Tessa Bailey can do no wrong in my book. So Piper is just like a spoiled heiress, Paris Hilton type who gets arrested for breaking into a hotel, and it's kind of like the final straw with her stepdad. He sends her off to the town where she was born, and she meets grumpy Brendan, and she's kind of like the sunshine. She takes over the bar in the town, and they fall in love, and he's got a really dangerous job as like a crab catcher man, fisherman. And there's a bit of a misunderstanding. There's a push-pull between her falling in love with him and this small town, and also wanting to be back in LA with her normal life. Again, Tessa Bailey, she could rewrite the dictionary and I would read it like I was eating it up. Then I read the Ex Hex. This was so super cute. Basically, Vivi is a witch, and she gets her heart broken when she's 19, and her cousin they jokingly curse him, but they didn't realize that they actually cursed him. And flash forward to 9 years later, he comes back to the town, and the curse has infiltrated the magic, and everybody's magic is getting screwed up, and they have to figure out a way to fix it. And also at the same time, they're reconciling and falling back in love. And I really liked it. There was a lot of world building, which I feel like doesn't normally happen with kind of like the more witchy kind of fantasies. And the romance was super cute. I didn't expect it to be like spicy, but it was a little spicy. It was like a jalapeno pepper, just a little spice, just a little bit. And I really enjoyed it. Okay, the next two are a series, and I just finished the one last night. And I need you, if you're going to read these, to read the trigger warnings and take them seriously. So, Haunting Adeline. It is a dark romance. It's a stalker romance. Addie moves into her grandmother's house after she passes away. It's really creepy in the woods. She's an author, and she starts getting roses left around her house and notes and text messages from who turns out to be Zaid, who is legitimately stalking her. He is a hacker. He is someone who goes after sex trafficking rings and kills pedophiles. He continues to get closer and closer to her. She sort of lets him. She kind of gets off on the cat and mouse chase of it all. This one was dark in the sense that she is falling in love with a guy who is posing a threat to her, and he does some not so great things with a gun to her, but she enjoys it. I thought it was really dark, and I was like, okay, like that was a lot. And then I got to the end. It ended on a cliffhanger, so I immediately had to go to the next one, and there was a warning in the front that it was much darker than the first one, and it absolutely was. I don't want to give it away because it would give away the ending to the first one, but very, very graphic descriptions of human trafficking, of non-consensual sex, of murder. Yeah, read the triggers big time. I did really enjoy this series, which I don't know what that says about me. It was really, really well written, and there was one part in Hunting Adeline where I actually like physically got sick because it was just so depraved. But it was really good. If you can stomach it, if you can read the triggers and decide that that's something that you can handle, I do weirdly recommend these books. I think they'll make you think a lot about good versus evil, what it means to be a good person or a bad person, what it means to be a sexual person. It was really good. But really disgusting also. And that is everything that I read in October. I told you guys it was a lot. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have read any of these books and you have thoughts, let me know in the comments down below. If you have book recommendations based on anything that I have talked about today, please leave them below. Follow my bookstagram. It's at @EmilyTurnsThePage_. You can find it through my regular Instagram if you already follow me there. And if you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? You get to hear me talk about porn for 30 straight minutes. I mean, what more can you ask for? Oh gosh, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon right here in my next video. Bye!